But they never give in. And that's the winner.
Welcome to the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we're bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Woo, sir. How we doing? It is January 2024. It is the January transfer window under the new ownership of Sir Jim Ratcliffe. They are not quite butts in seat yet. The deal has not been ratified by the Premier League, but it's our first window under new owners. Let's call it that. And more importantly, we have a FA Cup tie on Monday to preview, sir. A lot going on around the club, even outside the football side. Like I said, Sir Jim's getting in. He's building his team. We have no confirmation on who the DOF is going to be, on who the technical director is going to be. But as long as it's not John Murtaugh, I'm going to be a happy man, sir. How you doing? How you feeling? Let's go, baby.
Look, new owners, not quite yet, right? Deal is going to close in April, could drag till June. They are talking to the Glazers, though. Obviously, during this period, you announce the transaction, then it takes a lot of time to cross all those T's, dot all those I's, but they're in dialogue. They're involved. As far as what we could be seeing in January, you're seeing a lot of bluffing out there on Twitter and the press, people looking for clicks. Manchester United is going to buy this. Manchester United is going to do that. What Manchester United is going to do is going to cut bait. Big contracts, get them off the books. That is the number one priority. You got to get the big wages and the huge contracts off. The Martials, the Varans of the world, get what you can for Jadon Sancho. He's going on loan to Borussia Dortmund. Apparently, terms agreed there. So it's a lot of house cleaning. Not very exciting for us fans having watched shitfootball.com holiday sale. But you know what? Shitfootball is shuttering its doors in January for a few weeks. We're going to get a little bit of a break. It's going to be a lot of news around the transfers and potential ownership shakeup, which I'm more excited about anyway. I mean, at the end of the day, this season it's been hard. A long, hard August, September, October, November, December. Make it stop. December especially.
Oof.
So we deserve a little January break. Get healthy. Get ready for the push to the end of the season.
Hey, and you know what? You also brought up a good point, which is at this point, this season's a write-off. This manager is interim at this stage. It's about the new ownership. It's about the new talent coming into the front office. And there's been a lot of noise, a lot of movement in the last week. We have a lot of news to talk about when we get to the news section. But like you said, it's all going to be outgoings. If we were to get an ingoing in, maybe another striker, if they do sell Martial, it's almost certainly going to be on a loan. There's not going to be any of these, cheeky deals for this random Ecuadorian kid who's 18. Like, we're not going for him. We're not spending any money on new signings because, like you said, it's about getting lean. It's about dropping the holiday weight. And that's going to be the MO from Ratcliffe and Jean-Claude Blanc and the rest of his team. Brailsford is that they're going to cut those contracts, right? They didn't renew Varane on the 340. They may try and renew on a lower wage, but it's about getting lean, mean, cutting costs, and setting the team up for future success. So beyond even Erik ten Hag and all the struggles we've seen on the pitch, it might get worse before it gets better because we're going to have to get this bad boy cash flow positive pumping money into the club so that they can reinvest everywhere because basically everywhere needs to be reinvested at this point given the dereliction of duty the Glazers have overseen now 20 years in.
No, and that's a great point. It's just understanding while Tony Martial, the idea that he might come back is just horrific for fans.
Can't be true.
The idea would be if you could get Martial to cut his wages down cheap and stay, that buys you probably another body, like a loan deal for an aging striker. Then you get 3 for next year or 3 to the end of the year. Regardless, it's just good and cheap. But good and cheap on the Glazers versus stop the bleeding Ratcliffe. That's what we're going to call it. Stop the bleeding Ratcliffe is going to help us acquire the young talent that we're going to need to push on for 21 in the years to come. And I think that's really the focus is we got to get a cheaper squad, have patchwork. It's going to be ugly for the time being, and then build it up over time. You could look at Arsenal and how they were able to build a young team, and then now they're sprinkling in the Declan Rices, maybe the Ivan Tonys, and then that's how you can push for a title when you have that depth. Instead, United's just mashed potatoes. You got these old guys making too much money, positions that, like a great example would be Delo at right back. Like, what's that doing for the team year in, year out? Swapping the keeper when you probably didn't need to, and it's just like the whole thing's a mess. There's no stability. There's no bedrock of youth, and having that youth distributed across the squad in an even manner. We don't have like strikers coming in behind, wingers come in behind. It's usually just 1, 2, and then when someone goes down, it's squads in crisis. Look at our center backs to go no further. But, sir, quick PSA for the podcast. You like the America Red Devils. We are 100% fan-backed, fan-supported. Be one of those fans. Check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/America Red Devils. Behind-the-scenes episode every single month. December just dropped last week. And also, some secret benefits. Check it out. Sign up. Join the creme de la creme of the American Red Devils community. Also, check out our website, americadevils.com, and our store, americadevils.store. Pick up a scarf, a shirt, a hoodie, a beanie. Anything supports this podcast. Again, no big sponsors, just for fans, by fans. Sir, tell them about iTunes reviews.
It's beanie weather. It's blanket weather. I'm sure it's cold. I hope it's cold wherever you are. Pick those up because those are top picks. Another great way to support the pod is write 5-star reviews on iTunes or Spotify. And if you do so, we're giving away free merch. All you have to do is write a 5-star review. Like I said, iTunes or Spotify, and send a screenshot of that 5-star review to americadevils@gmail.com with your mailing address, and I'll personally pick, pack, and ship some free ARD gear. Send it right to your door anywhere in the world. Here's a great one. 5-star. It's a mouthful, so give me a minute. From J. Van Beek. Righteous Reds, the hosts are no hold barred, almost OTT, unapologetically American, and that's not a criticism from this Brit whose sheer high-octane enthusiasm has this listener's blood pumping red before the show is barely out of the gate. The insight into the team choices and latest shenanigans in the circus that calls itself Manchester United these days, hopefully soon to change with the part purchased by Sir Jim, is always spot on. There are occasionally imported audio clips from the American sport and maybe TV shows or films, which are always fun and well chosen. The utter unremitting disdain for our greatest rivals expressed in suitably colorful language. Otherwise, no swear words are used, unlike in some other football podcasts. Always bring a smile to my face. Overall, the tone is very upbeat and dismissive of any indulgent negativity. A great tonic for any Man United defeat and a great way to celebrate any win. Thank you, Jay Van Beck. That is an all-time review, and we appreciate it. Try to keep it right down the middle. A little bit of good, a little bit of bad, and this season's been a lot of bad. But hey, maybe Ratcliffe is the shine of bright air that we need.
Here, 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 here.
Respect, man, respect.
We got to respect Jay Van Beek for that
All-timer.
review of the podcast. Look, we do it for the love of the game. But, sir, love of the game. We got a next match. Let's break it down. That's right, Wigan Athletic versus Manchester United, the DW Stadium. Let's go, FA Cup third round, proper. Monday, January 8th, 12:15 p.m. Pacific, 3:15 p.m. Eastern. Wigan's 18th in League One, lifetime versus Wigan, 118. Lost one. I like those odds. First time we played them, December 14th, 2005. We beat them 4-0. Last 5, 1-4. There's that one loss in there. While Sir Alex was still at the helm, we lost 1-0 in the EPL. Last time we played them was in the FA Cup, January 2017. We won 4-0. I see no reason why we shouldn't win 4-0 again. It's short of that shit football we've been playing. Coming into this, Wigan, Lincoln City drew. Port Vale cooked them 3-2. Reading slapped them up. Derby County beat them. Wigan Athletic beat Carlisle. And then they got Barnsley coming on up.
Coming on up, indeed. Wigan. Come on. It's we're talking League One. We're talking 18th place. And a little American Red Devilism. The first game I was lucky enough to see of our mighty Reds was Wigan versus Manchester United at Old Trafford 2007. We'd go on to win both the league and the Champions League that year. So I have a special place in my heart for Wigan, and also hopefully a special place in my heart for battering Wigan. Let's get a little extra special breakdown from a friend of the pod.
So big shout out to Adam, who sent over his Wigan Athletic FA Cup away preview. His scouting report on Wigan says they're likely to sit back in a mid to low block. No surprise, it gets you through League One. They do play a dynamic style of football. similar to Thomas Frank's Brentford, often inverting wingers and fullbacks and playing players out of position. Obviously, they found some success in League One by using young players, but they're often getting beat, and they're 18th. So players to watch: the goalkeeper, Sam Tickle, another great English name there. He's an all-around keeper, one of his highest save percentages in League One. He's up there as far as keepers, and he has an England U21 call-up. Also, to look out for Jordan Jones, a dynamic right-footed veteran who will likely be playing midfield or as an inverted winger. And center backs Charlie Hughes and Liam Morrison, big head center backs, old English, solid ball-playing center backs. Morrison's on loan from Bayern. It's been called up to Scotland U21, and Hughes is a Man City product and an England U20 call-up. So again, if you're trying to get into the England U20, U21s, you're playing in League One, you're getting playing time, playing for Wigan. Their likely formation will be the 4-2-3-1. And a little fun fact, the one loss that we lost to Wigan came on April 11th, 2012, where Wigan won 1-0 thanks to a 50-minute goal by current Wigan manager Sean Maloney. So
Cost United the title, arguably, right?
Yep.
Because damn City Blues. Interesting fact, right? They were relegated from the championship last year. They were punished with a transfer embargo and an 8-point deduction for repeated failures to pay players and staff. I like this. Lactics are a scrappy band of loons and academy call-ups under Scotsman Sean Maloney. Like you said, do we know what they're gonna be? They're gonna be scrappy. They're gonna be playing in front of a home crowd, smaller stadium. But like you said, they've got some talent in the center back position. They're gonna play compact. United has, beyond our defensive issues and our challenges scoring goals this season, we've always had difficulty under basically every manager since Fergie breaking down a low block. So I don't expect anything different this game. Hopefully we see the Eriksson Bruno double pivot. I don't know. We'll see.
And Adam, his take on it, he says the value of all Wigan players combined is less than Amrabat's loan fee from Florentina. Just to give you an idea.
Oh my God. Don't say that.
It will be a national televised derby, and it's got the makings of an embarrassing, gotta laugh so you don't cry FA Cup crash out. Still, we get the job done. 2-0, United move on. So he's optimistic, but it does have those vibes where you walk into Wigan, you don't get the win. What are we doing? Who cares about Wigan? Let's talk about United. Physioroom.com, we had Luke Shaw. He's got tightness in those muscles. Amrabat, African Cup of Nations, no return date. Malacia out. Martinez back in training. Mason Mount, number one fan right here, sir. Lindelof, Casemiro, Maguire, Martial, Sancho, obviously loan deal. And Onana should be playing, I believe, in this match before he heads out on the African Cup of Nations.
That whole thing, I mean, there's so much news to talk about in the news section, but the whole Onana, like, hey, I'm not going to African Cup of Nations. I retired. Actually, I am going to African Cup of Nations. Wait, I'm not going. I'm going to make it for the Spurs game next weekend by, like, working with his home country and figuring out, like, he can go in late. It's all mess.
Yeah,
we
per
Reuters,
he is available for the Wigan Cup game.
But Bayern should play. Bayern should play. We bought him for a reason. He's highly rated. He seems like he has talent. These are the games you need to play him. You need to have a good backup. And the only way you have a good backup is if you play him. Even Romero. Like, he's probably the best backup keeper we've ever had. And he got minutes. He got cup minutes under Jose Mourinho, and that worked really well. Onana, he's had a very mixed start, to be polite, to his career at Manchester United. So, hey, you bought Bayern Deer. He's younger. He looks like a talent in the highlights I've seen. So, what time better than playing against, the 18th place team in League One?
Look, Wigan, we should be focusing on our own squad, getting healthy. It's the FA Cup. There's a trophy up for grabs. It is the original, the OG trophy for football, the first one ever, actually, since football was invented in the 1860s, or at least the FA was established that then established the FA Cup. Given those injuries, what's your starting 11?
All right, here we go. We got some big boys back, and they're going to fit right into that starting 11. I'm going to do Bayern Deer net. Give him a start. He needs it. He deserves it. Delo, Varane, Martinez, back in business. The Butcher, Shaw at left back. I think he's going to make it that tightness. He'll massage it out. Switch around the midfield.
You got to help him massage it out.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, pay me top dollar. I could be a masseuse. I'm going to do Casemiro as my 6. I'm going to do Eriksson as 8, and then Bruno as 10. I'm going to play Rashford on the left, Højlund up front. I'm playing Amad Diallo. Amad Diallo tearing up championship last season, and why can't he tear up a League One team? Let's go. He's not going to play, but that's my 11, sir. What are you picking?
I'll tell you what. I love Manchester United. I've enjoyed this break. And then just hearing the players like you list out on this 11 just gives me anxiety. You know, it's just like hearing these names again. I'm just like, why are these players playing for this team? It's just like
there's some big names coming back.
No, I know. Just like you're going through. I feel like
Delo.
Like it's once you get to the attack, it's like, oh no, like Rashford, Højlund, Antony, like not again. I've seen it so many times. Like,
okay, here you go.
I have a feeling that's where we're headed. Bayindir, Delo, Varane, Evans. I'm gonna say Shaw. You're gonna get McTominay, Kobe, Bruno, Rashford, Højlund, Antony. That's what you're gonna get.
Yikes. That midfield loses again.
Stubborn FC.
Let's talk about money. Get that money. Get that money.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Woo! Big odds. Big odds in the twin. Wigan plus 1,000 at home. The draw plus 500 and Manchester United minus 480. Woof, sir. That's rough odds. Given the odds, what is your score prediction?
You got to win 2-1. I'll give it 2-1, probably, comfortable, but we win 2-1.
I think we lose 1-0 to Wigan. Wigan Wanderer.
about?
I'm telling you, plus 1,000, bro. Pick it up. Because this season, maybe 24 will be brighter, but the end of 23 was rough. Let's get into some news. There's a lot of it.
More importantly, you think we're going to come out like fighting, or is this going to be one of those like low energy?
I think this is one that it's a dangerous game. It's a trap game, right? You're playing a team you should
rested.
dominate. Yeah, we're well rested. There's got some
No
big
excuses.
big names back. We're gonna be well rested for the rest of the season, right? It's one game a week. I expect nothing from this team, bro. This team has let me down.
First 20 minutes, it's away. So you got to say it's away.
Yeah,
but the first 20 minutes has to be rapid.
Yeah, we have to be like peppering.
Rapid,
all the ball. Yeah. Creating chances.
But what I want to try to highlight here is that there's the mentality. Mentality monster, sir. Manchester United. Mentality monster. Roy Keane. Wayne Rooney. Eric Cantona. If you're up against it and you have a horrible year and you're getting slapped around in December, fine. You got a lot of fixtures, whatever, injuries, Fine, you get a break. You get some players back. And it's like, we got to set the tone. It's like someone's got to step in that locker room and be like, no more of this mashed potatoes, like not try and get outplayed by lower opposition. They got to come out like ready to go, ready to roll, ready to go. Has to happen, sir. And to me, that's where even if you lose and you show up with some cojones and you're going toe to toe with Wigan, because it's gonna be a tough fought game. It's a big game. Everyone always rises to the occasion in an FA Cup tie, and we got to go over there. We got to set the tone. You got to be ruthless. Manchester United is ruthless.
When we're good, we're a mean team. When we were at our best, we were mean.
It's in our blood.
We were mean.
Should be
team you didn't want to play against.
Sir, step on their throat. Wayne Rooney, kick him down, kick him up and down the field, beat him and let him know. Like that's what it's about.
Beat him bad. That 4-0 I watched when we beat him in 07, I'll tell you what. We didn't give him an inch. We didn't give him like one suck of oxygen. They got blown off the pitch, and we could have beat them 10-0.
And we need some of that. And
you know
think
what? The big names coming back is going to be huge. Casemiro and Martinez are two of the leaders in the squad. If Luke Shaw is fit,
don't big up Casemiro. He needs 5 games. Casemiro is like a slow engine. He's like Bowser in Mario Kart, man. He's like a slow acceleration.
You got to get out the speed. You got to play him. You got to play him. You got to play him. The only way you got to
dish him to Saudi, bro. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen in January. Okay. It's going to happen in the summer. The Saudis don't run out of money by then.
All right, let's get into the news, sir. You put together a smattering of news. I'll let you walk us through it.
Well, the different blocks. There's a lot of different themes going on last week. I think the thing that's I'm the most hopeful about is the Sir Jim news. So Sir Jim, and got two sirs, We got 2 sirs in the pod room. We got 2 sirs in the front office already. You got Sir Jim Ratcliffe.
Sir, it's meant to be.
Sir Dave Brailsford. They had a sit-down Q&A with basically all different factions, sections of the Manchester United staff. And I think this is just a huge breath of fresh air. They came in and they said the achievements haven't been good enough. The sporting project has not been good enough. And that is what we're focused on. We're focused on success on the pitch, and then money will come after. This
Talk
club
is cheap, motherfucker.
Of course it is, bro. But hey, the Glazers owned the club for 20 years. They made one bullshit statement when they bought him in 04-05, and they didn't do shit after that. Now, this is just a statement, right? Talk is cheap, like you said. But this does show a little bit of, hey, we're here. We live in England.
No,
I know his tax base is in Monaco, but he's an English lad. He's from down the street. Apparently, he's a United fan growing up.
Look, this is
important.
I'm not hating this. It's important, but it's like
Okay, so throw water on my fire.
what fire?
The fire in my belly that's getting excited about the new management, new ownership.
It's actions speak louder than words, sir. And I just want to see the actions. I need
So what do you want to
Dan
see?
Ashworth,
Yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see Paige.
Paul Mitchell, Jean-Claude strolling in
that's
with
a
that
fucking
Nike
team.
jump man, not close behind him, kicking Adidas out. Get out of here, Adidas, with these kits.
Awful.
Peppermint Patty.
We have for
wait,
another
like,
decade, bro. We
by
have
the
for
way,
another 10 years.
you can tear it up. Peppermint Patty FC, get lost. Like, get out of here. Like, you're killing me with that kit. The whole thing. It's just like, first of all, win the league again, then get rid of Adidas. Like, the Adidas stuff.
It's shit, bro.
It's
Some people
brutal.
like it.
It's
some
not.
people-
They don't. If you like Adidas, you didn't know what United was about when Nike was our sponsor. We win 3 in a row. So I got the Nike shirt in the pod room. 3 in a row. 07, 08, 09.
2 Nike kits because they were just better. They're better.
Exactly.
A little better.
And so maybe there's something.
Jumpman. I think
We're also
Jumpman-
American. We're biased. Like, but the
course.
jump, like, if Michael Jordan's in the stand at Old Trafford and the Jumpman's on the kit, like, give me a break. Like, come on.
10 billion.
So
10 billion valuation.
I need
right
to
there.
see, like, the feel good factor is going to be there with Ratcliffe, but it's all about these, like, I need big dog calls. I need big dogs coming in the front office, and I need him to get those guys. So I need to see him close that caliber of leadership. And obviously, given the club, the feel good vibes, like, he's gonna let a bunch of people go. Let's be honest. So there's gonna be ruthless decisions made. I want to see what he's about, and also, everyone's got to plan until they get punched in the teeth. So it's like, how do they react when it doesn't go right? And the last thing I want to see is $60 million for the Crystal Palace player, right? The last thing I want to
good.
see is another.
He is good though.
AWB was good when we bought him. Anthony was okay. People were hyped. I said Hoyland was overpaid. I said
course he's
overpaid on
overpaid.
Anthony. I didn't hear a lot about that when we bought him. So every player, everyone's gonna love when we buy him and pay that money. I want to see us selling. I want to see ruthless front office decisions. That's what I want to see. Look, you got to talk to us. Deal's not even done yet. This is feel good. This is good vibes. But sir, I'm just calling it. It's just vibes.
You're splashing water on my fire, bro. And I get it. I agree.
You give me Ashworth, I'm buzzing.
No,
like we have
that's-
an emergency pod. Ashworth in. Let's go. We're going through every deal he's ever done at Brighton. Like
he's got
I'm
a pretty
like
good
I'd
CV.
much prefer that
That's more important.
than any. Like honestly, that's the biggest deal that we could get. Like he has the best CV in English football, and he needs to be the guy running the show. And if he is, and if these guys can close him, like that could change United. That could change our future, sir. It's like.
It's all rolling from top.
21.
It's all coming from up top, and that's leadership. That's what it's about right now. This is it's just the first step, right? This is so early into the new tenor of the new ownership or the partial ownership or the controlling football interest or whatever we want to call it, that it's a good sign. On the Ashworth story, they haven't ruled it out. Newcastle journos were saying like, hey, they are circling. They haven't really talked to Newcastle yet.
Why do you think
But
they're circling?
Ashworth is interested. Ashworth.
Why do you think he is?
Why
'Cause-
wouldn't he be interested? It's the biggest club in the fucking world,
And he's not working for the
fucking Saudis.
The Saudi
I'll say
private
it. I'll
investment fund,
say
yeah.
it. And apparently, he has not been given full control because the
There you
Saudis
go.
want their
Yes.
fingers and everything,
Yes.
as you would
There you go.
imagine,
There you
fingers,
go.
toes, and all the
There you
things.
go.
But at Manchester United, what we're hearing through the journos is that he has been given and being guaranteed, like basically full control of the football operation. He's going to have Paul Mitchell underneath him as a head of recruitment.
Ashworth, like I'll tell you
he's the
what,
real
we
deal.
we have
He's the real deal, bro.
So we have the Mount Rushmore, right? There's a Mount Rushmore of Manchester United, right? And it's like Charlton,
Busby.
yes, Charlton,
Fergie.
Busby, Fergie,
Who's the fourth?
John Henry Davies. John Henry
Right,
Davies.
that's what
Those
I-
are the
yeah,
four.
that's it.
Those are the four. Ashworth could be 5.
Murphy, Jimmy Murphy is gonna be like in the mix. Ashworth is 5. We gotta win like 21, 22, 23, 24,
you
25.
gotta let me finish. You gotta let me finish.
Go ahead.
He could be 5 because he's the most important person. I would say the hardest thing to do right now is stop the streak.
Yeah.
When you're losing, and you're losing in anything, whether blackjack, NFL betting, like whatever's going on, like
betting.
But you know, like
I know.
But you know, you're on a streak the wrong way, right? And we saw the Scouse Masters took 30 years. It takes a person to bring you out of the streak, and it's like I think Ashworth could be the guy to like we're going downhill, and that line just goes right uphill. And I think that type of guy, that's the type of, it could be like the David Gill. It could be the next person who really is driving United forward and changing the game. Like absolutely, like if you look and read what he's doing, the digitization of the transfer strategy using this new software where you can basically like buy players like online or get inside contract requests like via a third party app on the internet, and he's all into that and trying to find the young buys, get the edge in the market. And like if you could imagine him coming to United and doing that and finding value in the transfer market with over like 100 clubs, like I just think that could change us for the better. And we're in the Stone Age and we need to go in the 21st century, and I think he's the man to do it.
Yeah, I agree. It's not straightforward because, like you said, he's at Newcastle. Like I don't even know what type of contract he signed with Newcastle. There might be a buyout. There might be to negotiate a buyout. But this club has so many issues. You need someone to come in, diagnose the problems. Then you need someone to come in and basically help like revamp what it should look like going forward. So it's like a multi-step process, and I think he's well suited to do all those things. In cahoots with Brailsford, in cahoots with Jean-Claude Blanc. Paul Mitchell is just like heading up recruitment. I mean, that's effectively like an pseudo-English star. I know Jean-Claude Blanc is French, but that's basically a star team. I mean, you're setting up a team that is going to matter more. It's going to matter more than the manager, bro. It's like Eric Ten Hag, whatever, these players, whatever. It's like you need a front office that is elite. And we have been so far off the fucking pace in terms of having an elite front office for so long that we are in the mud right now. And that is like most of our problems stem from that. So get in real footballing people who are the best in the game and give them as much control as they need, and most importantly, as much time as they need. Because this shit is going to take time. We're going to get worse before we get better. And there's going to be transfer decisions where people are going to be like, why aren't we in for that person? Why are we not buying that person? Why are we not keeping that lad? It's because we got to go cheap and we got to get like lean and mean, and this club has been far from it for a long time.
No, I think that's very well said, sir. And the point is going to take longer than everybody thinks. So the next phase of this game is we get these guys in, and then
they fuck up a little.
No, but like the day traders are all the Twitter accounts and all the, like all the big like, oh, we're in for this guy. Oh, we're in for this guy. Oh yeah, it's like they all want that like big money signing, this whole thing is like that's not what it's about. It's like this is about the long term, and it's gonna be boring. Like the Martial deal, like restructure, re-sign. Like I'm like, okay, I see it.
You like that?
I see it.
You like that deal?
We just need to get cheaper. Like we just got to get the wages down. We got to get cash flow up, and then we got to then get these experts in and then make a plan. But right now, that's not for. The plan isn't until next summer. So if Martial's cheap and you sign him for another year, and that means that you can get another striker too,
right?
That's what that means. Is like you can't like to have to go get 2 strikers. Then you only need to get 1, and then you got a third one on the bench. He'd be number 3. If Martial's number 3 on the bench playing in the FA Cup, do you care?
No.
While the team is in a rebuild, like
long as you get a
nobody cares. As long as he's
a decent number 2.
As long as he's taking lower wages.
Yeah, a lot lower wages.
So our next one.
So this is all about Eric Ten Hag, his reception around the change. He's gonna have less say. Here's the deal: he's not in charge anymore in terms of the recruitment, which players we buy, all that stuff, and that's the way it should be. Who's who? The manager who's been here for a year and a half that we talk about incessantly.
This guy who bought every player wrong still wants to say about transfers. Yeah, it's like
we gave him enough rope to hang himself because
what did he do with it?
He hung himself
he could also wrap himself in glory and like do an amazing job.
Like all of our managers basically have is right.
He did. So it's like that's the point. It's like
that's not the point. That's actually not the point. The point is that like he should never have been put in that position. He failed. Now he won't be in that position anymore. Now, they're making this out to be like...
And he's complaining about it, right?
No, he's not complaining about anything.
He says he wants to be involved.
Every top manager has some say in the recruitment because you can't just go and buy a player that the manager has no interest in It has to be a mix. It's like, hey, we want a striker. Okay, the recruitment team comes up with 5. He's like, I have a preference. They try and do it with the budget they have allocated, and then there's give and takes. That's like what a normal process would be for anything.
Well, normal is kind of like what's going to happen is like, okay,
He's gonna, dude,
they're going to come
You're
in.
gonna get your wish. He's gonna get fired in 24. So I'm just saying.
So that's not my wish, for the record. He had full control, spent $400 million, and then the new owners are going to come in and be like, "How'd that 400 go? It went horrible." So he's got to have less say as a result of what he spent,
Which he should.
That's it. It's not unfair. It's just the reality. If he spent the $400 million well, he would have more say. If he spent it like we did, he's going to have less say, and that might be unfair to him because in a normal relationship, he probably should have more say, but he's probably going to have less given how it's gone. And I just want to highlight he shouldn't have been able to do it that way. It shouldn't have been run that way. It was only run that way because of the bad front office and horrible owners. But he did, and it went badly, and it's clear. And that's the problem. So it's like I can't just – it's not that no one gets a free pass in anything they do, especially if you drop $400 million. So at the end of the day, it's like, yes, I actually don't really care too much about Ten Hag's say in the transfer business right now. I care about Ten Hag doing everything he can to get this roster of players to get United back in the top 4 and fight hard in the FA Cup. And if he does all that and he puts his head down and he can get these players on side and get us playing good football, the football we saw in Barcelona last year, then he's gonna have to make an argument for them to keep him. And that's what I want him to do. I want him to turn this whole thing around and make a solid run because I'm dying watching this team. I want to watch good football. Nobody's rooting against this team. But if we play like shit, I'm going to say it. If the manager bought a player for $80 million and he sucks, I'm going to say it. That's just the reality. You can't paper over the cracks there. And it's just like he needs to get this team humming. He needs to get Anthony scoring, Rashford scoring, Højlund scoring, the midfield clicking, the defense working. Like, what if that means the players come back? So he's got to be worried about his job. He's got to be worried about a strong, convincing finish to the owners at the end of the season. As far as transfer business goes, I don't think he has a say. I don't think much is going to happen anyway. I think this is all a 2024-25 problem.
Yeah, I agree. He doesn't have a say. He shouldn't have a say. Let's be honest. Even if his transfers had gone excellent, and I think most people thought his transfers had gone pretty well after year 1, even though we overpaid for Casemiro, we overpaid a lot for Anthony, because it's all about the performance on the pitch. But the most important thing is like focus on the performance on the pitch, because the performances on the pitch have not been good enough. We've had a shit ton of injuries, but at the end of the day, it's like he has to get, like you said, he got to get those boys playing better than they have been, and they have not been playing well enough. And hopefully, with those things taken off his plate, I'm just trying to be an optimist on the bald fraud, he will have an opportunity to turn the screw a little bit, get some of his boys back, and hopefully finish with some respectable nature. To the end
Even
of the
if
season.
you lose, you just play better. It's just play
Conviction,
better, organized, diligent football.
Either way, we
that's
gotta
what
get younger.
we want.
We gotta get younger.
Like
We gotta
lots
get
of
hungry.
chances, lots of XG, but somehow Brentford won. But we should have won because we played well and we were at home. It's like need more of that. Just that's what we like a team clicking.
I haven't said that in a while. I haven't said like we deserve to win, we lose. There's more like we deserve to lose.
There's
and we
like
won a
deserve.
couple times.
There's deserve to lose and win.
Last
There's
season
deserve
we
to
did
lose
that.
and lose.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like night and day. Speaking of night and day, Varane. This United not getting the option on his contract. He's going to be available to talk to other clubs. We don't want to pay the high wages. Sir, how are you feeling about this? Varane, obviously, him and the manager, the little stink eye there. And look, you just get the big wages off the books. I actually like Varane.
Varane?
I think he's a good player. I just think right now where we are, we're like rebuild, so get the wages off the books.
Yeah, Varane's a great player when he's available, but he's seldom available. So here's the thing. This is such a fucking bad transfer. We paid like $45 million for a player who's like, 29 with injuries, and now we're going to let him leave for free if and when he does. We're trying to renegotiate. Basically, they didn't take up the option on 340 because they want to negotiate something lower than 340. So if he wanted to come at 200, or hey, I'm going to do 340, but it's based on availability. So like in actuality, he get paid like 220 after all the injuries he will get next season going forward. I'm okay with it, but like you said, we have to get lean and mean, and you can't have players. He's a great player, but when you're unavailable all the time and you're on top dollar, that doesn't work in the new normal and probably shouldn't have worked before anyway. So
And we said it before when we bought him. We went through the injury
Injuries,
record
yeah.
at Real Madrid. We went through it and be like, hey, he's great, but he's not available. But
and that's
you know,
proven to
for
be
me,
it's proven to be correct.
and then contract extensions that were triggered. Sir, you want to go through these?
Yes, sir. AWB, he got a new contract. Not new, excuse me. He got an extension. The 1 year option was triggered for him. He's probably one of the lowest paid players on the team. He gets like $80K a week. Lindelof also got his contract extended. Hannibal as well. Hannibal is now in talks, maybe going to Sevilla on loan. Everton are making a play for him. And then the one that was noticeable was they did not trigger the automatic extension on Martial. It was on £250,000 a week. Like you said, apparently we're hearing a lot of mixed things on Martial. We're hearing they want to renegotiate him on lower wages, which would make sense, as you put it, cheap and good.
We're in a holding pattern. We're in, like, the holding pattern would be like,
You let him go.
A win would be
let
you
him
keep all players and renegotiate their wages down. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they're trying to do, right? They're not trying to dish and deal right now. They're just trying to say, okay,
Let's get the burn
let's
down.
get the extensions. Let's try to lower some wages, do some short-term fixes so that when the new guys come in, we haven't, like, the plane isn't falling apart more. And unfortunately, another bit of news: Reguilón rejoining Tottenham, mystery loan, signed him. You know, he did get injured. I did like what I saw from him. I think he's a classic left back. I think he can do the job in the Premier League. I think he'd be a great backup to Luke Shaw. Malacia, the card for me is not necessarily turned over. I don't like seeing Delo playing out on the left. So at the end of the day, could I prefer like a Reguilón to a Malacia? I just need to see more of the young Dutch international. But I did like what I see. I mean, he was better than Telles. He kind of came out of the gates. It was like, this guy could do it.
Yeah, he
he
came out hot.
could do it in a team. He could be Luke Shaw's backup. And that's the type of caliber of backup you need at Manchester United. Have a Reguilón behind Shaw. Like, you know, even for me, Delo is a class off of a backup, in my opinion. And Reguilón looks like that level. Like, he could be a backup in a United squad. He could carry water if Shaw's out for the 2 months that he is every single year. And when
Once a year.
when you have a Luke Shaw has injuries, and like you need a strong backup left back. I like Reguilón, so maybe when his contract's up, we can do some damage there. But he did a good job.
I think he showed a lot of heart. I think he won a lot of goodwill from Manchester United fans. A little inconsistent, like you said. He came out of the gates like super hot, looked really good against a bunch of top teams, and then he had the injury. He had some less good performances, but I think this is like, hey, we got knocked out of Europe. We don't need as many players. Malacia should be coming back, right? We did loan him in the first place because Malacia did his knee. They kept that one under wraps, and then Shaw had like a 3-month injury, so it made sense. It just doesn't make sense now given the lack of games, the fact that Malacia's coming back. But seems like a good lad. I think he like endeared himself to Manchester United fans a lot more than a Wout Weghorst, for example. We've had some loans where you're just like, what?
You touched the Anfield sign, you dead.
You're dead.
You're dead to
What
me.
a bum.
You're dead
Speaking
to me.
speaking of bums, number one bum in Manchester, Jadon Sancho. His deal is coming together. Has not been confirmed yet, or has it?
It has not been confirmed.
Look at him
The latest
kiss
from Fabrizio Romano is Manchester United do not want to include an option to buy in the loan deal to Borussia Dortmund, as the situation will be assessed again in the summer. Man United and Ineos are against cheap buy option, as his current value is not high. So Sancho's future to be decided in June, but parties are. This is heading to Sancho back to Dortmund. You hope he balls out, and then the price tag goes up so that whenever he gets sold, there's a little payment to Manchester United, and that's what we need right now because it is brutal out there in those streets for all these deals. This is the big bluffer deal. Manchester United target Crystal
bluffer
Palace.
deal.
Michael Olise has like a one good game, and immediately it's like Manchester United want to buy him. Look, a good player.
He's a good player.
Here's the deal. Does United need good individual players?
No.
I think we have a lot of good individual players.
We do.
I think that is the problem at Manchester United. And to just add another good individual player into a team of individuals is not going to work. It's like this team, you got to like destroy it, burn it, build it back up. You got to build it young. You got to have the depth coming through in the academy, and just another like all-star talent into just like Bluffer FC. It doesn't help. We're not going to be spending money in January. I
It's
can't
for the summer.
What?
This is they were saying for the summer because he's got a release clause of 60 million pounds in the summer. Your points are well taken.
Yeah, no one player is going to help this team. It's like we need to, like you said, the front office. That's what I'm looking for. I think this is just you're getting January rumors about the summer and nothing.
You don't buy it? We don't even have our new technical director and/or head of recruitment in yet. So I tend to agree. I also think like we got to get away. He has a very good player. 60 million is probably about right in this market, given he has a buyout. He'd go for 100. I think if we were trying to just go for it, given how we overpay. But no matter what, Eric Ten Hag or not, like this team is going to have to be built on young, hardworking players. That's it. Every team that's chipping up, that's winning stuff, it's like it's all built on. If they are not willing to run hard, you're not going to win shit, whether in Europe or in England. So whether you're City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs, Villa, like they all work their asses off, and this team has not worked its ass off. We have some players I think that are overpaid that have shown that they have more power necessarily than the coach or even the front office, and we need to get back to basics and just bring in like Sean McGinn, like hardworking Scotsman from Villa, like does a job, works his ass off, will bleed for the badge, and like I said, I think it's going to get ugly or worse before it gets better because we got to get lean and mean, and that means like less splashy signings like Elise, who is a top signing, but like you said, 16 million. I think we're gonna have limited budget going forward in the near term at least.
Also, Timo Werner goes to Tottenham. Everton are trying to hijack Sevilla loan move for Hannibal, which is interesting. There's a lot of demand for Hannibal out there in the transfer market, which is good to see. But again, when it comes to the transfers, there's just not a lot doing for United in January transfer window because could you get a Werner? It's like, what are you doing? It doesn't matter. Like this.
Would you want Werner?
You need to no.
I'm asking. I'm just curious.
You just need to. This manager made the bed. The 400 mil. He's got his boys. What can you do with your boys? That is the card we need to flip over at the end of the season and evaluate. And that's what it is. Like we don't need to get anyone in. We need to focus on renegotiating contracts down. We need to get rid of big wages off the books. Not exciting. But if you've seen the last decade and you don't want to see that again, it's exciting. That's the only way we're going to get there. And so it's encouraging to see from this new group of minority owners that they're kind of thinking the right way.
No, you're right. And that's the thing is like it's going to be frustrating for fans. It's going to be frustrating for, the online community that wants everything now and is very reactionary and you're only as good as your last game and your last 5 minutes. It's going to take a while. We're going to have to not sign big name players and big splashy sign. It's just not happening. And that's a good thing because we have to fix something. We have to change the way we've been going about the transfer market. And we have got it. No team in the last 10 years has done a worse job in terms of money spent and what they got in the return. It's like we are like front of the pack as it relates to that ratio. And we need to go cheap. We need to go young, and we need to go hungry. Players you've never fucking heard of that are just coming out of Portugal, coming out of Spain, coming out of France, who are willing to work their asses off. And I don't need big names no more.
All right, sir. So we don't have any fan questions, but we got a surprise American Red Devils X-Files segment for you. I'm going to start here. Surprise segment. Alex doesn't even know about it, but we're going deep because we kind of had a little bit of this just to tease. We do the extra Patreon episode every month. So if you sign up to be a Patreon member, you get
give it a taste.
In-depth discussion behind the scenes, and we were going on a tangent about managers, right? Obviously, Ten Hag, rooting for him through the end of the season. Let's see what happens. So it's more like a who knows what the new owners are going to do. Football's been rough. Can he turn it around? Lots of questions. Let's just take that and just shelve it and be like, okay, assuming the new owners want a new guy, and you need a new manager. Who is that manager? Everyone says, who would you get? Like, if not Ten Hag, who? Right. So let's just assume the new managers in the next season want a new coach, regardless of how Ten Hag does. This is a hypothetical. We're in the conspiracy zone, so we can have these conversations without hurting the bald man's feelings. And I noticed that the crazier the manager, the more successful they are. So it's almost like you need to find the biggest psychopath around. And actually, there is one manager that does break the rule, but like Pep Guardiola, absolute
Maniac.
A maniac.
Klopp?
Like on the Klopp,
Fucking kidding me?
insane.
So was Fergie, to be fair.
Fergie was a
nut.
madman,
A
right?
madman.
Like out of control, kicking the boots, going crazy. Like he was just nuts. And so like it's almost like the more of a nut you got, and you look at you're like David Moyes, way too cool, way too
nice.
sane.
LVG's kind of a nut.
LVG is like a little bit of a nut, but maybe not in
Past
the right
it.
way.
He was past it. He was like that.
You look
Mourinho?
at he's a nut. We
Fucking
won
nut.
some things, he's like a self-destructing a nut with like a self-destructing time bomb.
Emo nut.
Ten Hag was a nut last year. I feel like he's kind of gotten a little more like
Also emo.
lost his spine a little bit, and then so it comes down to who's the craziest manager who's left, and it's like you look at Tommy Tuchel. That guy's got
He's fucking insane, bro.
He's got crazy eyes, Conte. Like the googly eyes is moving around. Like he's like totally nuts.
Nuts.
That guy would. I think you think about like who you want and what type of manager you need. I think you get like the Tommy T's. Tommy T could do some damage. Ancelotti seems like he's probably nuts behind the scenes, but he's not leaving. So like
not gonna
Tommy
be able to
T
get
ain't
Ancelotti.
leaving
It has to
Bayern,
be
by the way, and Ancelotti ain't leaving Madrid.
We're
Right?
talking
So
about Tuchel might be get fired because they always, unless they win the Champions League, they're crazy, bro. It's like the German league is basically a walk. Even though Leverkusen are chipping up with Xavi Alonso, that's another guy in the mix. I know he's a scout.
Scouse. No, he will
but
never
he is
come.
overperforming. He probably, like you said, he probably won't. He's also
but
high in the
but there's
City job.
another but Xabi Alonso's not crazy, right? He's not cuckoo for Cocoa
No, it's
Puffs.
Tuchel, if
No,
you can get
but
him.
you know what? There's one more guy who's cuckoo for Cocoa
Nagelsmann?
Puffs, who's on the way up. De Zerbi is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right? Doesn't have. Here's the thing: light on the CV,
Very light.
but he's a nutter,
He is
like
a nut.
proper crazy. Doesn't sleep, yelling at him in his dreams, like nutter.
So
like,
who do you
that
want?
Guy's
Who
a
do you want?
and look at the hair, dude. Like for me, in that situation, I doubt the Tommy T is not going to come. I don't think he's going to get fired. I think you got to go crazy De Zerbi. Hear me out on this. That hair, like red track jacket, like that guy born for the part. He's like our cereal box character, like a la Count Chocula. I don't know what you would call it, but he would be absolutely a madman on the come up, which is what you want. And what concerns me is I've talked about it. I said it concerns me that City didn't get the Kane deal because then Holland would go to them the next year. What happened? Holland went to them the next year. They got the treble. I was called that out a year before. Arteta not winning the title, Arsenal axing Arteta, getting De Zerbi. That makes me nervous. That's like the 3D fan chess.
I don't think he's that good of a coach.
I
don't think he's a bad
good.
coach. I don't think I'm not bagging him.
Arteta is a pretend nutter. He pretends like he's nuts, but he's not actually.
No, he's
De
not.
Zerbi's full nuts. He'll go the full yard.
This is fucking.
But it's
this
true.
Is a section. This is a segment, all right. This guy.
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
Let me go.
De Zerbi, full nutter, he can win the title. Arteta pretends to be a nutter, doesn't have like the
doesn't have
marbles
the full
at the end
nuts.
of the day.
He's just
Yeah.
half nuts. He's faking it.
He's kind of the touchline is embellished. It's like I agree.
He's
What do you-
emotional.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's emotional. He's like emotional than more than nuts. Here's the thing. De Zerbi, I think he's getting the same thing that he's better than Graham Potter. I'm not going to do him disservice. He had one good year at Shakhtar.
Graham Potter not nuts.
No, he's not. No,
remember,
way too chill.
Remember,
Way too chill,
remember
bro.
the whole way I started it up. It's like
I-
if you're nuts, then
I'm
you're
looking at
probably going to
crazy
be really
people.
good.
I only want crazy people in the seat.
Graham Potter, not crazy enough, not good.
No, but De Zerbi, I just think he's getting a little bit of like the Brighton shine. Like that team is so well run and so well recruited that you kind of just like give them something to do and they'll go for it. They're all hardworking. They're all talented. If you get some kind of structure around tactics, you're gonna win some games. So I think I want someone with a.
It's
bit of-
easy.
Tuchel. I get Tuchel because he's gonna be available. Or they're not right this
Okay,
summer.
De Zerbi, Tuchel in an alley, 2 a.m.
De Zerbi's gonna win, bro. Are you
Like-
kidding me? The Italian guy versus the Italian versus German.
No, we got like you got the range. Tuchel's got the
No,
range.
he's tall. He's like Abe Lincoln, bro. He's like, it'd be hard to fight.
Okay,
Scrappy.
yes. So Jim Ratcliffe, you got to get De Zerbi and Tuchel in
I take
a
Tuchel.
fight,
Tuchel
and then whoever
won the Champions
wins
League with
becomes the
fucking
manager.
Chelsea. He won. Thing is, I think we need to have like a mix. There's gonna be. You're not gonna get rid of Bruno. Rashford. They're not gonna get rid of Rashford. You're not gonna win the title now, but you can chip up and like go for an FA Cup. So I think there's like an interim step where we are gonna be cleaning house. We're gonna getting rid of some of the obvious big contracts, right? The Casemiro, the Martial, the Varane. They're gonna go, but the other guys who can win now. You got to put them in the position to win now, and I think Tuchel gives you the best chance to do that when Ten Hag loses his chance because he doesn't turn the season around. So I think he'll be available in the next 12 months, and you just keep basically like Eric Ten Hag or the other crazy Dutch guy or the other guy, English guy, Tuchel would do it. He'll do it for 2 years, but you need people that are going to run. That's the whole deal. It's like
The Tuchel handshake also.
he's a nut. He's also Conte. What about Conte? What about your boy Conte?
He's great. He's nuts. Good coach. But there we go. That's the surprise X-Files segment there for
That
the
was fun. You need more of that. More surprise John segments just coming out left field.
But look, that's it. That's the FA Cup X-Files pod. If you like the America Red Devils, you have a laugh, and you want to support content for fans by fans, check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/America Red Devils. Also check out our store, americadevils.store, americanreddevils.com for our blog content. Sir, give us our top 10 cities last 7 days.
Number 1, how you doing? Dublin, Ireland, New York, Chicago, Illinois, Los Angeles, California, Seattle, Washington, London, England, Oslo, Norway, Houston, Texas, Miami, Florida, and last but not least, Philadelphia, PA. Appreciate all the American Devils listening week in, week out. Couldn't do it without you. Hey, we got Wigan at...
We got a trophy to win.
We got a trophy to win. We got a trophy up for grabs. There's one thing left to play for. Let's give it all, boys. Let's do it.